Why do some edits just look so premium? You've probably seen those videos where you could instantly tell, yeah, this has been edited by someone really good. You might get inspired by those crazy animations, but when you try to copy them, your edits fall flat. Is it just the years of experience that separates you from making crazy animations? Or is it something else entirely? Well, spoiler alert, it's not the years of experience. Hey, my name is Ben and I'm the lead editor for Dankeef, the fastest growing AI channel on YouTube. Hundreds of editors apply to join our team, and it's my job to separate the bad editors from the good ones. And after reviewing literally hundreds of edits, I've come to the realization that the only thing separating a beginner editor and a good one only comes down to 3 simple factors. And if you just apply one of these 3 factors into your next editing project, I guarantee that your edits will instantly look way more premium. Now, the first point is a concept so simple, yet most editors never apply it, and it's really holding their edits back. So let's quickly watch through these 2 action scenes. They are both action scenes in the hallway, but one of them is from Marvel with a $40 million budget, and the other one is from a relatively unknown director with a much smaller budget. So let's compare both of them right here. If you think the bigger budget film looks much worse, you are definitely right. The smaller budget film doesn't have Hollywood level actors or Hollywood level editors, so why does it look so much better? Well, it all comes down to just one simple thing, and that's the viewer's perspective. When inexperienced editors edit their scenes, they are so tunnel vision on their animations. What colors should I use? How do I make this animation smoother? They are so stuck in their own heads that they completely forgot the main purpose of their job, which is to edit for the audience, for the viewer. What I mean by this is to put yourself into the viewer's perspective, what they're looking at, what will they look at. If the speaker is talking about something really complex, how can I use my own editing to make it really simple for the viewer? All of these are extremely important things to consider. Let's go back to the 2 action scenes, but this time we're in the viewer's perspective. And I've indicated what the viewer will see with this blue dot. You can see that with the high budget scene, the viewer's perspective is just everywhere. It's extremely exhausting to keep up with the scene. Now if we go back to this low budget scene, we don't need to shift our attention everywhere, and that's why it's so much more simple to keep up with everything. So how do you apply this to our own edits? The next time you edit a scene, you always have to keep in your mind where the viewer attention is at. And once you master this simple concept, you can take it to a level above that. You can direct a viewer's attention using simple tricks like zooms, vignettes, and even blurs like the scene I did here, or another scene that I edited right here, or this is another scene with that concept. You are a video editor, which also means you are a director. You are literally dictating every single thing that's happening in the scene. Be aware of that power, because once you use it right, your edits will skyrocket to a new level. Now, point number 2 is something that really frustrated me since forever, and I know it's not just me, because when I asked my editing team about this problem, all of them have mentioned that they struggle with this thing too. And what we are struggling so much is maintaining the consistency of our edits. Have you ever started a project feeling so excited? You might think like, yeah, I'm really gonna kill this edit. So for the intro, you make this really crazy animation, and then you make another gorgeous frame. But then for the next animation, you realize that the quality slightly drops. So you take a small break, and when you come back, editing is all fun and smooth again. But then creative fatigue slowly creeps in until you get to a point where no matter how many breaks you take or how many times you look at your inspiration board, your edits just don't look good anymore. So you end up with a video that has an amazing intro, but then with the body and the outro, those really doesn't reflect the level of edits you can produce. My friends, we have all been there, and for the longest time, I didn't know how to solve this issue I had. I honestly thought it's just all part of the process, but when I talked to more experienced editors, I found out they were using a specific technique that the rest of us aren't even aware of. I call this the MAP framework. And once you get this simple system down, your edits will suddenly take a massive dip in quality. Best of all, you edit your videos way faster. So the M in MAP stands for maximize the start. So in every talking head video, you have the intro or the start, and then you have the body, which is the middle, and then you have the outro or the end of the video. And we all know that the intro is the most important part of the video, so we just spend the most time on it. So when I said maximize the start, you might think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But let's dive a little bit deeper than that. First, let's categorize categorize an animation quality into groups. So A tier animation is the absolute best quality you can create at your current skill level. B tier animation is still a great animation, but you don't really spend as much time into it as the A tier animation. Then there's C tier, and then there's D tier, which is the lowest level. It might be a simple text animation that you spend like 3 minutes on. So this is where a lot of editors go wrong. They cram all their A tier animation into the intro, and then they expect to have the same quality for the rest of the video. Unless you spend weeks editing a project, this really isn't realistic. And even if you do that, the audience might not even like it. In every story, there's a curve of emotions. So there's always an introduction, then you just rise to a climax, and then there's a resolution. In every horror film, there's always a build-up of tension. So there's just build it up, and bang, there's a jump scare. And then for the next 5 minutes, there's like literally no jump scares or any scares at all. And they do this very intentionally, because if the viewers are constantly exposed to tension and scares, they eventually become very numb to it. So let's return to the MAT framework. Again, M is for maximizing the start. So for the intro of our video, I'll cram as many A tier animations into it. So if I had to make 4 animations, I will have maybe 3 A tier animations and then just 1 B tier animations in it. We want to start the video off with the best animation, so the perceived perception of your video is very, very high. Then we go to A of the MAT framework, which is apply efficient middles. The body of the video or the middle is where most editors, including me, mess up. My friend, when your intro is filled with mostly A tier animation, the viewer will have a perceived notion that the quality of the video is very high. It won't suddenly nosedive in quality if they see like a B tier or C tier animation. You want to be very efficient with the middle. So for the body of the video, I would maybe sprinkle in like a B tier animation, then another B tier animation, then maybe a C tier and then a D tier animation. This way you can manipulate the audience dopamine level so they are not emotional fatigued. But this is also very, very beneficial for you, because you don't want to burn through your creative juice and burn out really quickly. And when the viewer starts to realize, oh wait, the quality is starting to dip, and then this way you reset their dopamine level for crazy A tier animation. Are you catching on? Because this is how you maintain a really high quality perception of a video. And lastly, when it comes to P of the MAT framework, it means peak at the end, which is exactly what it means. So let's go back to the movie example. After you watch a movie and you ask your friends or family like, how was the movie? What do they usually tell you? Yeah, the movie was great, but the ending really sucks. Typically, it's always about the ending of the film. And that's why the ending of a film is equally as important as the beginning of the film. In our case, we want to end strong, because when the viewer leaves our video to watch another, we want to leave with the impression that the viewer has watched a video that's really packed with value. So for the outro of the video, I usually have just A and B tier animations. Okay, so we have been through 2 of the 3 points of how to make your edits way more premium. The last step is something you already heard of before and you know is true, but you never ever do it. But before we get into it, we have to understand this. So far in the video, we are just talking about theories and frameworks. We have not dived deeper into the technical side of things. How to improve your keyframes, how to make cleaner animations, and even like what's the deep glow settings that you have to use for your text. If you're interested in how to level up your technical skills in Premiere Pro or After Effects, I might not be the best person to ask that, but I know people who might. I've reviewed the most popular editing courses and you can find them in the description below. It's a completely honest take, I'm not sponsored by any of them. Okay, so the third point of the video is very boring. That's why I put it in the last of the list, but that does not mean it's least important. In fact, it actually might mean the most to your edits. I've reviewed literally hundreds and hundreds of edits, and the fastest way I differentiate between a beginner editor and an experienced one is not their animations or their visual. It's the sound design, and that's our last point. And before you think, oh, I have sound design nailed down, let me show you the most recent project I was tasked with. So I had this AI film that was given to me as a project, and it came with no audio, like literally zero. And I knew that if I wanted this video to perform well with our audience, I had to have great sound design, especially since the video was named How to Create Cinematic AI Videos. So when I did the project, I only had one thing in mind. You see, when someone watches a video, they get a dopamine hit with the visuals, and you can literally double the enjoyment by adding another sensory layer. So remember, the point of a good sound design is to elevate a viewing experience. The last thing you want to happen is to take the viewer out of the experience by putting like a jarring sound effect, which, trust me, a lot of editors do. But also, you don't want to place a sound effect that really doesn't belong there. For example, if I'm editing this boxing promo, but suddenly I put in this building, it would definitely take the viewer out of the experience. So for my AI film project, I took what I knew about sound design and I think it ended up pretty good. In fact, it was one of our best performing videos out of the last 10 videos that we uploaded, and we gained over 900 subscribers in just one day after we upload. And here's the final snapshot of my sound design. Get better at sound designing your edits, and if you don't know where to start, I've linked several resources down in the description. It's all free and it personally helped me.